Oh.
There you go. There you go. All right, man. So big game tomorrow. Wolverines and Buckeyes.
Yep.
Come on. Give me your opinion.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one. Well, um, smart money is on Ohio.
Right. Right.
But you don't play the games on paper,
That's correct.
and
That's correct.
so you know it all comes down to being smart and not playing within yourself, not playing outside. Doing what you do and not getting ahead of yourself, staying in front of the chains, minimizing the impact of their stars. You know that they're going to make plays, but minimizing the plays that they make and making the plays that are there to be made.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's a chance for Jim Harbaugh to put all the doubters to bed, to shut up all the writers, to shut up the Paul Feynmans of the world, and to take a step forward in the growth of the program. We sat here 4 weeks ago and we talked about where we were as a program after the Penn State loss, and we talked about, okay, what do we have to do to get right? And I said it at the time. I was like, I was really happy with the second half against Penn State. From 6 minutes on, aside from one missed coverage, I thought we played an excellent ball game. Then we go and we got Notre Dame at home in the weather, and we started with a timeout on the very first play of the game. And it's like, here we go again. Big lights, Saturday night game at home, and we're not ready again. And then we have the blocked punt, and it's like, oh great. Then Notre Dame tries to get on top of it, and they miscue on getting on top of it, and we get the ball back, and we go down and we get a field goal, and it's like, all right, the hardest points of the game are the first points. We got the first points out of the way, and we started to roll, and then we rolled against Maryland, and we rolled against State, and we rolled against Indiana, and we just need to keep rolling against Ohio State. Take Chase Young out of the game. Don't let him beat you. Pull the guard and get two big bodies on him. Yeah, you're going to give a free rush to somebody else, but you don't want that backside pressure. You want you roll away from you pull the guard, plant everybody down, pull away from and roll away from Chase Young and let you throw it up and let your big receivers go get it. Collins,
Right.
Black, and DPJ. There are things that we can do offensively to stay with Ohio State. I think we're better served in a shootout than trying to 3 yards in a cloud of dust it, against Ohio State this year.
Right.
It's big boy football. We know, they know. We've seen all the memes, we've heard all the comments. We know that we got to defend the house this year. After the absolute beatdown we took last year, getting run out of their building, it's showing up in the first quarter and playing 60 full minutes of football. It's
Right.
nothing you've never heard before. It's nothing there's no mysteries. It's lining up and just hitting them in the mouth. And
Yeah.
what happens will happen.
Well, I mean, I think the way that you guys, Bud, can neutralize Chase Young is if you can establish the running game. If they can establish the run early on in the game, you can defeat a pass rush. Because if they know they have to stay back and defend the run, then you can blitz. But if you miss the blitz, then someone's going to be left open. And I have to agree with you on that. I think the game that turned around for you guys was the Notre Dame game. I think you guys have used that game as a motivational tool. Now in these last three after that one. I mean, I heard on radio today on ESPN radio as I was coming home from work that that a lot of people in Ann Arbor are feeling like this could finally be the year that they beat Ohio State, because the way that the team has played the last 4 weeks coming into this game, there doesn't seem to be any weakness. So like you said, if you can neutralize Chase Young, you can neutralize him and, get after them right away. I think the one thing that Michigan will have to do in a hypothetical situation is, let's say Ohio State wins the toss, because they are the road team. They win the toss. They take the ball. The big thing to do would be to stop them on 3 plays. Get them off the field, get the offense on the field, and score a touchdown and stick it to them right away. I think no one this year I've seen has punched them in the mouth, and somebody will. Whether that's you guys or whether that's maybe it'll be Minnesota. Who the heck knows? It's going because they're going to be playing Minnesota or Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, unless Michigan wins. But I mean, what I'm saying is, no, still going to be Ohio State.
It's just for pride this year. It's Ohio State will play Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I mean, I would love to see them. If I love to see Minnesota in that game because they haven't played the Golden Gophers this year.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
They played Wisconsin and they, beat the crap out of Wisconsin earlier this year. So
yeah. I'd like to see them have to play somebody else, but
there you go. Yeah, I would like to see them have to play Minnesota, a team that they haven't played this year. So that would be cool. But I agree with you, but I really do. I think they need to, like you said, punch them in the mouth. You need to come out and punch them in the mouth, and that's the way you're going to beat them. I think whoever does that will win.
Figuratively speaking, of course, I don't need any pregame shenanigans where we get somebody,
Yeah, that's.
Somebody gets kicked out of the game before the game even starts. Keep your head about you, keep your hands to yourself. That's going to be a big key to this game tomorrow is playing within yourself and not letting the moment be too big for you. Keep your hands to yourself. You can't have any bad penalties. You're being home, you should get calls. But you're playing Ohio State, and we never get calls against Ohio State. So, it's about neutralizing the referee's ability to make calls during the game. Right. It's Lavert Hill. I like him. He's a great corner. He's really good in single-man coverage, but he's got to keep his hands to himself. We can't go and get, we can't neutralize Dobbins and Field on first and second down, get them in third and long, and then give up a holding call on the outside and give them 10 free yards and a first down.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
And that's going to be one of the big keys to the game tomorrow is not having any penalties. We can't have penalties. And we got to play with them. And if we can keep it close, I like our chances. I don't know what's gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, if I knew what's gonna happen, I, go put money on somebody.
Well, you could be like Biff Tannen in the second Back to the Future movie, where all the picks before they would happen. But
yeah, definitely.
I mean, but again, that's why. That's why these rivalry games are so different. Special. You could use that word because you never know what's going to happen. You never know, you have a team that has won every game, hasn't lost a game. They go into a rivalry game and they lose because they're not.
And they haven't lost to Watson in almost a decade. They're pulling. They're getting closer to tying the series up. They're 2 wins away from tying the all-time win streak record. They talk a lot of crap all year, and there's nothing we can, you can't start talking smack when you haven't done anything. It's okay, it's one thing to talk smack with State or with Rutgers or Indiana, when you haven't lost one in almost 2 decades or over 2 decades with the case of Indiana, we've beat them home and away the last 25 years plus. Going back to 1988, it's easy to talk smack, and you don't look like a complete tool. But then you look like a tool when you try to talk smack to the Ohio States of the world because we haven't done anything against them. They've been better. They've just been straight up better. And save 2016 where we know he was short, you know he was short, they know he was short, but they got the call. And and as disappointing, as 2016, 2017, 2018 were, it'll all be forgotten tomorrow at kickoff. None of that stuff matters. Yeah,
Yep.
at 12 o'clock, high noon in Ann Arbor, in the weather, it's going to be cold, could be snowy. It's going to be a wet, nasty, messy game. I think that favors us. I've also heard that Fields broke his left thumb last week, so I know that's his non-throwing hand, but if that's hurting, if that's bothering him, it could he could not want to hold on to the ball as long. He want to get the ball out of there quicker. With it being cold, I just think that really the big keys to the game are starting fast, staying within yourself, no penalties, get them off on third down, and don't let Chase Young beat you.
Yeah.
Those are my five. Those are my and it's not like it does. I'm not sitting here giving you I'm not gonna try and see. There's things that you can do scheme wise or personnel wise. I think it'd be important to rotate all 6 of our receivers, keep them in the game. Make sure that we go 6-7 deep. Giles Jackson's gonna have an impact. Bell's gonna have an impact. Going deep in the depth chart is gonna be important. I also would like to see them bring go 3 wide, 7 linemen, go super max protect, and give Patterson. Yeah, even if they go, even if they bring 5 and drop 6, you can double 3 guys, and you'll have 1-on-1 on everyone else. So you double Chase Young, you double both ends, and you create running lanes up the middle because they're gonna bring and so Patterson may not be. He may not be Josh Fields or Jason Day or, he's not Michael Vick out there running the ball. But I think that'll be another key is if we can establish, if he can run even a little bit, and keep that D-line honest, that's going to be another huge benefit to our offense and, and having those opportunities to make plays in both the passing and running game, depending on what you've got going on, and having a tough schedule, playing Wisconsin, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio, Michigan, playing those big games and big moments and having big wins, and hearing all the talk, Michigan can't beat a top 10 team, Michigan can't beat a team on the road, beating and Iowa. We played some really, really tough opponents this year. We beat a 7-3 Indiana team. This is all stuff that we can hang our hats on and say, going into this year, we were looking at the schedule and going, Wisconsin's going to be tough, Army's going to be tough, Notre Dame's going to be tough, Penn State's going to be tough, Michigan State's going to be tough, Iowa's going to be tough, Indiana could be good, and that's half our game, that's more than half the games, and who has Ohio State played? They played Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a top 20 team, but they're not in Indy. They're not in Iowa. They're not Penn State.
Penn. I can tell you that.
We beat up on we beat up on the same teams that they beat up on, except for Wisconsin.
Right.
And they beat up on Wisconsin. Wisconsin beat up on us. But we played Wisconsin in Madison. We haven't won in Madison since 2000. We weren't ready. We had a new offense. We had a lot of pieces moving around. And then you look at the other teams that, Georgia lost to South Carolina. Tennessee lost to Georgia Southern or Georgia State. I can never remember.
Georgia State.
Last week, Georgia State, that's what I was thinking. Last week, I know you're in SEC country, just like me. Now moving to Tennessee and living in Tennessee. And then last week, Oregon lost to Arizona State. And it was one of the best college football games of the year, if not the best college football game of the year. And Michigan State blew a 25-point lead to Illinois, a team that we beat by 17. And so college football, and again it goes back to what I said when you brought me on the show today, which I appreciate, is that the games aren't played on paper. When it comes to straight-up matchups across the board, the Ohio State is probably better, except for maybe their left tackle and their wide receiver core. but we're young.